Okay, so there's just a couple more things that I wanted to mention here. One is that when you are ready to put in your graphics, you're going to want to make sure that everything you've decided to add into your showcase is saved out in a file that you can easily import into Adobe InDesign. So you might need to turn some of your vector graphics. Well, actually, InDesign does a pretty good job with vector graphics. Really, you might want to turn some of your um, what do we do, GIFs into a more high quality graphic. So make sure that whenever you do import them, they are high enough quality to be on a printed page. That's going to be very important for you, those of you who do choose to do the printed version of this. And then finally, for this wireframe assignment, I do also want you to illustrate your color selection as well as your font selection for the final project. You don't need to show me that in place, but rather I would rather you do a completely separate document. We'll do Control New here. Let's just do a single page, a letter size page. 8.5 by 11 is fine. And all that I want you to do is create 2 squares, okay? 2 or however many colors you're going to have in this document. Just give me some squares, fill them with your color selection. So whatever colors you end up saying, these are going to be my color schemes for my final document. Let's go ahead and show me what they're going to look like together before you put anything into your actual design. It's very likely that you will start putting them into the design and come up with a whole bunch of colors that just don't look good together. So it's way better if you go ahead and create your palette separately, and you can see how everything really does look together in its final form. So, I'm just playing around here, but for illustration purposes, this is what my final color scheme looks like. Go back to that color lecture that I did a few weeks ago. Remember how to create good colors that work together. Remember that monochromatic color schemes work really well. The simpler, the better. The more colors you add, the more complex it gets, and the chances are greater that you won't select colors that work really well together. And then finally, I do want you to create your font families. So I want you to illustrate what you're going to select for your heading font. And remember, headings work well if you select a serif font. You could go a little bit more decorative, but do think back to our lecture on fonts and stay away from those ugly, horrible, decorative fonts. Please, please don't do those. Use the good principles of design that we've learned about in class. And pick some pairings that work really well together. So make sure that whatever you select looks good with the subheading that you select too. Okay, so here's my subheading and body copy. And for my body copy, maybe I want a nice sans serif so we can write a lot of body. I guess I'll go with that one. Subheading, I'll make maybe italic. There's not an italic option there, but I'll make that a little bit bigger, maybe not quite as big as my heading. And play around, choose lots of different options until you find a pairing that looks good together. And once you select it, be consistent. Apply it to your design, make sure it's consistent throughout, okay? So that's what I'm looking for this submission. We're doing your black and white wireframes of your document with no images or actual text just yet, and then your color scheme and font selections in a separate document. Please let me know if you have questions, and good luck.